In the first episode, we saw how early humans survived in the wild, without language, without shelter, driven by fear and instinct. But now, we step into the age where survival turned into progress. In part 2, we'll uncover the secrets that changed the course of human history forever. Get ready for a whole new chapter in our journey. How did early humans communicate with each other, and what role did language play? In the earliest days of humanity, long before writing or spoken words as we know them, communication was still very much alive. Early humans used gestures, facial expressions, and simple sounds to express their needs and emotions. A raised hand could signal danger. A smile could show safety. A grunt or shout could alert others to a discovery, or a threat. This primitive form of communication was essential for survival. Whether hunting in groups or gathering food, humans needed to work together. Without some form of communication, cooperation would have been impossible. Over time, these simple signals began to evolve. Sounds became more meaningful. Certain noises were associated with specific objects or actions. Slowly, early humans began to develop structured sounds, the first spoken languages. Language transformed everything. Now, humans could pass on knowledge, not just through action, but through words. They could teach skills, warn of dangers, share stories, and build traditions. Language allowed memory to stretch beyond one lifetime. With it came culture, myths, and shared beliefs. More than just a tool, language became the glue that held communities together. It gave shape to human identity. Different tribes developed their own unique languages, marking the beginnings of diverse cultures. Eventually, spoken language led to writing, cave drawings, symbols, and scripts carved into stone or painted on walls. These written forms preserved stories and knowledge for generations to come. The role of language in human evolution was nothing short of revolutionary. It connected minds, carried emotions, and laid the foundation for civilization. Soft background music rises as visuals transition from ancient caves to modern cities filled with books, speech, and global communication. Language didn't just help humans survive. It helped them become human. When did religion, beliefs, and traditions begin, and what need gave rise to them? Since the dawn of time, humans have searched for meaning, in life, in death, and in the mysteries of the world around them. Thunder in the sky, the rising sun, birth, and death, early humans had no scientific explanations for these forces. But they had something just as powerful: curiosity and imagination. It was this search for answers that gave birth to religion, belief systems, and traditions. Tens of thousands of years ago, humans began to bury their dead with care, with tools, ornaments, or food, suggesting they believed in life after death. These were the earliest signs of spiritual thought. Questions like, what happens after we die? Or, who controls nature? Began to shape the human mind. As humans gathered in larger groups, shared beliefs became essential for unity and trust. Religion provided more than just explanations, it offered moral guidance, social order, and a sense of belonging. Belief in a common power, whether in spirits, ancestors, or gods, created bonds between individuals who might otherwise have lived in conflict. Traditions, passed from one generation to the next, preserved collective wisdom. Rituals marked births, deaths, seasons, and harvests, helping people make sense of time and life. Myths and legends taught lessons, explained nature, and gave purpose to everyday struggles. The need for religion and belief was not just emotional or spiritual, it was deeply practical. It helped early societies stay together, solve disputes, and face the unknown with courage. Religion was the first system that gave invisible meaning to a visible world, and through it, humans found hope, purpose, and connection. Soft, sacred music plays as visuals showed temples, sacred symbols, and rituals across cultures. And so began humanity's spiritual journey, one that continues to this day. Where did the first civilizations emerge, and what were their main characteristics? After thousands of years of hunting, gathering, and small-scale farming, something extraordinary happened: humans began to form civilizations. These were no longer just villages or tribes. They were complex societies with structured governments, writing systems, trade networks, and monumental architecture. The first known civilizations emerged around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, and they all shared one thing in common: they developed near rivers. In Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, modern-day Iraq, the Sumerians built the world's first cities like Ur and Uruk. They invented cuneiform writing, built ziggurats, and organized one of the earliest legal systems. In ancient Egypt, along the banks of the Nile, civilization flourished. Egyptians developed hieroglyphic writing, built massive pyramids, and believed strongly in the afterlife. The Nile's seasonal flooding made agriculture predictable and prosperous. Further east, in the Indus Valley, present-day Pakistan and northwest India, the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were laid out in grid patterns, with advanced drainage systems, a sign of strong urban planning and social organization. In China, the early Yellow River Huanghe civilization began, marked by the Shang dynasty, known for bronze casting, oracle bones, and ancestral worship. These early civilizations shared key characteristics: central governments and organized leadership, agricultural surplus and food storage, trade and economic systems, religion and temples, writing and record keeping, technological advancements in tools, architecture, and art. Civilization marked a turning point. Humans were no longer just surviving, they were building, governing, and creating legacies that would shape the future of the world. Epic music rises as the camera pans over ruins, pyramids, and ancient artifacts. And from these riverside beginnings, human history truly began. How did knowledge, arts, and science become a part of human progress? From the very beginning, humans have been seekers of knowledge, beauty, and understanding. The spark of curiosity that once led a hunter to track an animal later drove a thinker to study the stars, the seasons, and the human body. It began with observation. Early humans noticed patterns in nature, the cycles of the moon, the flow of rivers, the change in weather. This awareness slowly evolved into knowledge, practical skills like farming, healing, and tool-making that made life easier and more secure. As societies grew, so did the desire to preserve and share knowledge. This gave birth to writing, education, and organized learning. Temples and schools became centers of both spirituality and science. In ancient Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, China, and Greece, early scholars studied mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. At the same time, art began to reflect the human experience. Cave paintings, pottery, music, dance, and storytelling became ways to express identity, emotion, and collective memory. Art helped shape culture, while science sought to explain the universe. Eventually, science and art together drove human progress. The invention of the wheel, the compass, paper, and later, telescopes and microscopes, expanded the limits of what humans could do and understand. Knowledge and innovation led to new ways of living, from simple villages to modern cities, from myth to reason, from survival to advancement. Today, science, art, and knowledge continue to shape our world, in medicine, technology, literature, and beyond. Music builds slowly as visuals transition from ancient inventions to modern labs, space exploration, and digital creativity. What began as wonder, became wisdom. And through that wisdom, humanity continues to rise. What was the reason that human society became organized, and when did the concepts of government and law emerge? In the beginning, human groups were small, families or tribes living close to nature, solving problems together, often led by elders or the strongest among them. But as agriculture improved and populations grew, these small groups began to form larger communities. With more people came new challenges, managing resources, solving conflicts, and protecting the group. This is where the need for order began. As societies expanded, it became impossible for every decision to be made through informal discussion or strength alone. People needed rules, shared agreements about what was right and wrong, fair or unfair. These early rules gave birth to law. To enforce those rules, societies needed leaders, not just warriors or elders, but individuals or councils with authority. This was the beginning of government. The first organized governments appeared around 3000 BCE, in places like Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt. Kings, pharaohs, and priest rulers emerged to control resources, settle disputes, collect taxes, and maintain peace. They built palaces, temples, and administrative centers, the early symbols of organized power. In Mesopotamia, the famous Code of Hammurabi became one of the earliest written legal systems, outlining clear laws and punishments. It showed that societies were no longer ruled by force alone, but by agreed-upon justice. Government and law brought stability, allowing civilizations to grow, trade, and innovate. People could plan for the future, build cities, and live in relative peace. Music rises with visuals of ancient tablets, court scenes, and organized cityscapes. From chaos came order. And through that order, human society transformed into civilization. So think about it, if humanity journeyed from the Stone Age to the moon, what could the next destination be? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from our past and future.